Hello and welcome, I'm Ankit Tuteja and you are watching Tech It Out. This week our focus is on artificial intelligence. We tell you everything about the firing and rehiring of OpenAI's Sam Altman. We explain how North Korean IT workers are using fake identities to find jobs overseas and find out how Iran is beefing up its military capabilities. Let's get started. Let's talk about Sam Altman, the man behind the popular ChatGPT technology. His shocking return as chief executive of OpenAI days after being sacked caps as a chaotic period. It highlights deep tensions at the heart of the artificial intelligence community. In this report, we cover everything that you need to know about the recent controversy.
It's been quite a week for ChatGPT maker OpenAI and its co-founder Sam Altman. The golden boy of AI, Sam Altman, helped start OpenAI as a non-profit research lab back in 2015. A few days ago, he was removed as CEO in a sudden and mostly unexplained exit that stunned the industry. While his chief executive title was swiftly reinstated just days later, a lot of questions are still up in the air. If you're just catching up on the OpenAI saga and what's at stake for the artificial intelligence space as a whole, here's everything that you need to know. Altman is co-founder of OpenAI, the San Francisco-based company behind ChatGPT, the chatbot that's seemingly everywhere today, from schools to healthcare. A year ago, its explosion propelled Altman into the spotlight of the rapid commercialization of generative AI, which can produce novel imagery, passages of text, and other media. Altman became Silicon Valley's most sought-after voice on the promise and potential dangers of this technology. This helped him transform OpenAI into a world-renowned startup. But his position at OpenAI recently hit some rocky turns in a whirlwind. Altman was fired as CEO, and days later, he was back on the job with a new board of directors. There's a lot that remains unknown about Altman's initial ousting. Initially, it was said that he was not consistently candid in his communications with the then board of directors, which refused to provide more specific details. Regardless, the news sent shockwaves throughout the AI world. As we know, OpenAI and Altman are leading players in the AI space. The recent upheaval at OpenAI may raise trust concerns around a technology that many people still have questions about. Multiple experts say that this drama highlights how generative AI should be governed, which means governments and not big tech companies should be calling the shots on AI regulation. They believe that companies can't alone deliver the level of safety and trust in AI that society needs. According to Enza Iannopolo, who is a principal analyst at global market research company Forrester, rules and guardrails designed with companies and enforced by regulators with rigor are crucial if we are to benefit from AI. Unlike traditional AI, which processes data and completes tasks using predetermined rules, generative AI, which includes chatbots like ChatGPT, can create something new. Tech companies are still leading the show when it comes to governing AI and its risks, while governments around the world are working to catch up. In the European Union, negotiators are putting the final touches on what's expected to be the world's first comprehensive AI regulations. But they've reportedly been bogged down over whether and how to include the most contentious and revolutionary AI products. Meanwhile, in the US, President Joe Biden has signed an ambitious executive order. He seeks to balance the needs of cutting-edge technology companies with national security and consumer rights. We need to ensure that AI is trustworthy and helpful rather than deceptive and destructive.
Sam Altman is back as CEO of OpenAI. But did you know that Altman is not the only person to have come back as the chief executive officer of the organization he once led? There are many other personalities who have returned for another stint in their former position. Watch the story for more details.
AI's current poster boy, Sam Altman, is back as CEO of OpenAI. He returned days after he was fired by its board of directors. With that, he has joined a list of boomerang chief executives who have made comebacks at a later date. Here are some bosses who have reclaimed the top slot after stepping down. One of Silicon Valley's most famous names, Apple founder Steve Jobs, left the company in 1985 over differences with then CEO John Sculley. He returned in 1997 as the CEO and resigned in 2011, just before his death. Jack Dorsey founded social media platform Twitter, which is now known as X. He became its CEO in 2006. In 2008, co-founder Evan Williams took over the role while Dorsey served as chairman. He became CEO again in 2015 and held the position for another 6 years. Michael Dell founded Dell in the 1980s and held the position of CEO until 2004, when he stepped down to serve as chairman. He returned as CEO in 2007 and led the company through the merger with EMC, which resulted in the emergence of Dell Technologies. Robert Iger first became the CEO of the US Entertainment Group in 2005. He left the position in 2020, but Disney's board of directors asked him to return in 2022, when the company faced operating losses at its streaming unit. Howard Schultz served as Starbucks CEO on 3 separate occasions. The former NBA franchise owner launched the company's coffeehouse model in the 1980s. Before stepping down in 2000, only to return in 2008 for a 9-year stint. He served a final term as interim CEO from 2022 until last March. Sergio Ermotti took the reins at the Swiss bank in 2011 and stayed in the top position until 2020, when he was replaced by Ralph Hammers. He returned as CEO in 2023 amid challenges related to UBS's takeover of peer Credit Suisse.
North Korea is infamous for the level of control the government exerts over its citizens. It's been discovered that the country is now using unethical ways and fraudulent techniques to dispatch thousands of skilled IT workers overseas. Here is more.
Fake names, sham LinkedIn profiles, counterfeit work paper, and mock interview scripts. North Koreans are said to be using misleading information and deceptive practices to get a job in Western tech companies. Researchers at Palo Alto Networks, a US cybersecurity firm, have discovered internal documents that detail the workings of North Korea's remote IT workforce. The documents contain fraudulent resumes, a forged US green card, interview notes, and forged identities that North Korean workers used to apply for jobs. Landing a job outside North Korea to secretly earn hard currency is tough. It requires highly developed strategies to convince Western hiring managers. According to the US, South Korea, and the United Nations, North Korea is dispatching thousands of IT workers overseas to bring in millions to finance Pyongyang's nuclear missile program. According to a former IT worker, North Korean IT workers are expected to earn at least $100,000, of which 30 to 40% is sent to Pyongyang. 30 to 60% is spent on overhead expenses, and only 10 to 30% is pocketed by workers. It is estimated that there are around 3,000 others like him overseas and another 1,000 based within North Korea. Reports suggest remote North Korean IT workers earn 10 times more than what a conventional North Korean laborer working overseas in construction or other manual jobs earns. According to the US Justice Department, remote North Korean IT workers collectively earn more than $3 million a year. The documents and the data reveal the intense efforts undertaken by North Korean authorities to ensure the success of a scheme that has become a vital lifeline of foreign currency for the cash-strapped regime.
Iran is emerging as a global leader in the production of cheap and lethal weapons. The country is investing heavily in its indigenous defense industry. These days, its focus is on hypersonic missiles, an important weapon in modern warfare. We get you more details in this story.
The world has become more interconnected and complex. Security threats are becoming increasingly sophisticated, and therefore various nations are strengthening their defense technologies. Iran is one of them. The country has now launched an upgraded hypersonic missile, codenamed Fateh-2. It's claimed to be a more advanced version of the Fateh hypersonic missile. So what makes this missile better than its predecessor? Fateh-2 missile is claimed to be a hypersonic glide vehicle, a projectile that glides to its target after the initial launch, which means it offers substantially more maneuverability compared to a ballistic warhead that travels in a more predictable arc pattern. Though Iran has not given many details about the upgraded hypersonic missile, it's likely to have a longer range than the Fateh-1 missile. Note that the Fateh-1 missile boasts a range of 1,400 kilometers. The hypersonic missile can move at a massive speed of up to Mach 15 before hitting its target. That's around 15 times the speed of sound. The missile features a movable secondary nozzle that allows for high maneuverability. Iran says it has the ability to penetrate any defense system. According to a military technology expert, the Fateh-2 would be a better option for a preemptive strike than the Fateh-1. Why? Because it would fly at a lower altitude, follow a more unpredictable trajectory, and would be able to bypass or counter the enemy's mid-course interceptors. A pertinent question here is, what does this mean for the international community? Iran's hypersonic missiles are catching the attention of Western nations, and this latest development is likely to heighten Western concerns about Tehran's missile capabilities.
This week, we get you a 60-second review of a new smartphone. This is the Galaxy S23 Fan Edition. The phone stays true to the iconic S-series design. I like its minimalist look, sophisticated build quality and premium finish. But let's not ignore that the phone feels a tad heavy. Also, its glass back is prone to fingerprints and smudges. The display is impressive. Its warm tone is soothing to the eyes. Also, it's viewable even in harsh sunlight. I wish its bezels were slightly thinner. The camera is one of its biggest strengths. It captures bright and detailed images in daylight conditions. Also, the camera does not disappoint even in low light areas. Talking about performance, the phone neither lags nor slows down. The battery can survive for a day with regular usage. But with gaming sessions and long hours of video streaming, the battery may not last for too long. It is priced at 59,999 Indian rupees, which is approximately $720. All in all, the phone offers a good mix of excellent display, great camera, and decent performance. I have a question for you. Would you ditch traditional meat for plant-based meat substitutes? Well, before you decide, I suggest you watch this report.
It may look like animal meat, but the fact is, this is plant-based meat. You should know that plant-based meat closely resemble traditional meats, but they are made from soybeans and other plants. They're rich sources of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Also, you should know that they use less land and water than what is required to raise animal meat and produce. This in turn lowers greenhouse gas emissions. Plant-based meats and seafood offer multiple benefits. They are slowly gaining popularity and making meaningful strides. However, it seems a majority of people are still not convinced by the idea of consuming plant-based meats. According to market research company Euromonitor, plant-based meats still make up for just 2% of the world's global protein consumption. Why? Understand that the cost of plant-based meat is often higher than animal meat, but that's not the only reason. Taste is another important factor. Industry experts say taste and not price is the biggest barrier to widespread adoption. Various food startups are working to improve the taste, scalability, and the cost of plant-based meats. Scott Tassani, President and Chief Operating Officer of Colorado-based Meaty. The company makes fibrous steak fillets and chicken cutlets through mushroom roots and a handful of other ingredients like chickpea flour. Its chicken cutlet has fewer calories, less cholesterol, and nearly as much protein as actual chicken. The company thinks its combination of better taste, fewer ingredients, and improved nutrition produced at a scale could help bring down costs and help revitalize the US plant-based meat market.
By delivering on taste and texture, we're able to draw more consumers in that are traditional carnivores and or increase the amount of usage from flexitarians, those consumers that eat traditional meat but also consume alternative protein. And what we're seeing early on is that 40% of our purchases, 4 in 10, are coming from consumers who have never bought in this alternative protein category before.
Plant-based meat is seen as a good way to combat climate change. People are interested in buying foods that are better for the planet. But the question remains, can new technologies persuade meat lovers to ditch beef or chicken for plant-based alternatives?
We have a new list of the most overused passwords in the world. Australia is all set to revise its cybersecurity strategy. The week gone by was buzzing with a lot of exciting tech developments, and we bring you the most interesting ones in a tech wrap.
Clean and efficient public transport is seen as a crucial way for cities around the world to lower their carbon emissions. For cities with waterways, a high-tech boat developed and built in Sweden could soon set a new standard. Candela's new P12 high-speed, long-range electric ship barely makes a sound as it flies over a meter above the water. Claimed to be the world's fastest electric ferry vessel, it is designed to carry 30 passengers. The P12 is still in the testing phase. It will enter service in July 2024. It is that time of the year when security companies analyze if people are still using weak passwords. They do this by compiling and examining an exhaustive set of data. Digital security company NordPass has released a list of the top 10 most common passwords of 2023. Well, security companies keep warning us with such lists, but they are inconsequential unless we adopt the best practices. It's crucial to understand that passwords are the gateway to our digital lives, so refrain from setting such easy-to-guess passwords. Try to make your passwords complicated. Make sure your passwords are a mix of letters, numbers, and characters. Having a strong password is the best way to protect your accounts from hacking. So choose them wisely. The most powerful man in crypto has lost his crown. He could see his freedom curtailed as well. We are talking about Binance chief Changpeng Zhao, who has stepped down and pleaded guilty to breaking US anti-money laundering laws. The world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, has been slapped with a fine of $4.3 billion.
Binance has agreed to plead guilty to willfully violating the Bank Secrecy Act, knowingly failing to register as a money transmitting business, and willfully violating the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The Justice Department is requiring Binance to pay $4.3 billion in penalties and forfeitures. This is one of the largest penalties we have ever obtained from a corporate defendant in a criminal matter.
Australia is beefing up cyber defenses after major breaches. The country will give cyber health checks for small businesses, increase cyber law enforcement funding, and introduce mandatory reporting of ransomware attacks under a security overhaul. The government is trying to get on the front foot after a year in which nearly half the country's population had personal information stolen in just 2 data breaches at companies. Also, a cyber attack at one of Australia's biggest port operators this month brought supply chains to a standstill.
Well, that's all we have for you in this episode of Tech It Out. We will continue to bring you exciting inventions and updates on the latest gadgets. I will be back soon. Until then, keep watching WION World is One. And yes, don't forget to follow us on social media. For now, it's me, Ankit Tuteja, signing off.